is up, everybody? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, here with you live on a Monday. And we are going to be doing a quick political check-in pod, but we're going to do a couple of other things with one of the 2 a.m. Beat for Your players. Hope everybody is having a good Monday evening, specifically since we are in the middle of confirming an election and a possible coup. And there is a lot of things happening in the world right now, so let me, without further ado, the woman, the myth, the legend who asked Kate McKinnon to sit on her face on Twitter this week, Miss Sofia.
Hello. Hi, happy Monday. Yes, I did do that. Yikes. Have to call me out like that? Damn. So early on in the pod.
I got the same offer out for Ana de Armas, so it's okay. So we'll be all right. What is it about Kate McKinnon? What is it about Kate McKinnon specifically?
What isn't it about her? I mean, woman is just perfect, okay? She's perfect.
Really?
Funny. Yeah, she's just, yeah.
She's perfect.
Does it for me. Little Kate
McKinnon. They put her in every sketch.
They do, because she's talented. She carries that show.
I mean, yeah, she's cool. She's cool. How did you like her in Ghostbusters?
I didn't watch Ghostbusters.
Well,
I heard it was really bad.
Can you?
So I was like, why submit myself to that?
All right, so here we are sitting 2 weeks post-election. You and I both agree that
has it been 2 weeks?
It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow.
You're right.
No concession in sight. The president has said repeatedly, "I concede nothing."
Yes.
As a matter of fact, he's doubling down and saying, I won, and you can't tell me I won.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
To the point where
I do love the fact checking though that they have on Twitter, because all of his tweets just on the bottom it says this is not factually correct.
Other people have called this election differently. This is actually some.
Yeah.
I just want the Twitter people to go crazy. Like he's like, I won the election underneath it. This some bullshit.
This reality says otherwise. But okay.
But he's doing enough that his MAGA base is like eating it up. They're like, yum 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 yum, because
Trump TV might be like a thing, right? Is what I was hearing.
We're going to talk about the post-election possibilities, but
yes.
But and I was talking to somebody. Well, I was tweeting because our friend Karina had posted something on Twitter saying she was kind of like going through all these emotions post-election, and I think it's because we were already in sort of a fight or flee sort of mentality leading up to the election. Everybody's like, man, we've been going through this shit for 4 years. We, it's like this push to get this piece of shit out of office. And then the election night at first was looking bad because he was like, oh, and then all of a sudden it starts to turn the corner and, they find all the ballots, AKA they count them.
Yeah, exactly.
And it started to turn a little bit. It started to turn eventually. Fox News was the first network to call Arizona. Then it's like, oh God, all right, we can feel a little. You could feel a little bit okay, like election more than the day after, but until that Saturday, when people were like, what was the best one? Which is like, live your life in a way that when you lose your job, people aren't just joyously going out into the streets to celebrate. Yeah, that's just kind of like a rule for life. Don't live your life in a way where everybody's going to go out and celebrate in the streets.
Your unemployment.
When you're in your job. So finally people celebrate for a little bit. Everyone's like, all right, they called the election. But it was like, but wait. Enter Rudy Giuliani and his band of goons filing.
Yes.
I think they went like 0 for 16 on their first round of lawsuits.
Yeah. They
mistakenly booked a landscape and gardening place instead of a Four Seasons hotel for a press conference. That was epic. You saw that part?
Really? No, I didn't.
No, I don't know if it was an intern or somebody, but they're like, big event today at Four Seasons, and everybody's like heading to the Four Seasons Philadelphia, but it was the Four Seasons landscaping next to a
Yeah,
crematorium in a porno shop.
Oh my god, I heard a little bit about that, but oh my
Oh,
gosh.
the video is incredible of that
Okay,
press
then.
conference because they have all these people there and they're like, yeah, I saw some shady shit going down and, I couldn't see the signatures. I don't know. I think, is it realistic in an election where 150 million cast their votes for both Democrats and Republicans to be able to inspect every single ballot, do you think?
It should be.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be, but I. Okay, so your question is like, is it possible for it to be 100% accurate, or?
No, what I mean is their main concern and their main fraud is basically that they allowed him into the room, but they felt like they weren't close enough. So I think what Trump wanted to do, or what he wanted his people to be able to do, is to literally look at each ballot, compare it to the signature, and then be able to nitpick and just be like, oh wait, let me make sure this person's still alive. Let me make sure they haven't moved out of the county over the last 90 days, stuff like that, which is, so my thing is like, I don't think that should be the level of expectation that we have. Literally 150 million people cast a vote. I don't know if it's possible to have that degree of, because then it would take a month.
It would take months. Yeah, no, it would take months in order for it to be like, what are we in the freaking like old times? Like it's not something that's necessary, and it's not something that's feasible with the population. So I think that we need to make technology that is reliable, which we have. It's just not being taken seriously by the right wing, by the alt-right.
But
and yeah.
Then again, the other thing that happened, they get mad at Fox News for calling the election early, but then and the AP. But then when the AP, like a week later, calls Alaska and North Carolina for him after they've done the numbers, then they're like, yeah, Alaska and North Carolina got called for us.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just kind of like a little bit of just obviously it's the same thing everybody's being feeling, which is it's a bit hypocritical to say stop counting here, start counting there, right?
Yeah. No, it sounds just like they're just bitter. That's what it is. At the end of the day, I think that they lost. And at this point, it's just like, count the ones that are on my side and don't count the other ones. That's just not democracy. That's not the way it works. And you lost, and just take the L and chill, people. Okay. Gosh, it reminds me, to be fair to the right. Mm-hmm. Well, I can't be super fair to the right, but to be fair to them as much as I can be. In 2016, the left did something sort of similar where they whined and blamed Russia. And then later the Mueller report revealed that it wasn't, but they really took us through this circus of like, Trump and Russia. And then it was found that they had no ties. So after a while, it's just like, okay, that was all propaganda. Sorry, I fell for it. But this is kind of similar in the sense of like, when you lose and you just don't want it to be so. But at least Hillary conceded. At least people eventually were like, all right, not my president, hashtag not my president. And then that's kind of what's happening with the right hashtag, but except to an extreme of like hashtag not a president. He's not a president at all. It's Trump. This was fake. This is fake news.
No,
this didn't work. They just wanted to be like, go from a democracy to something more authoritarian, which I think it's ridiculous.
Well, their only play now is to basically get a ruling in the lower court that says, because we found irregularities here, we're going to invalidate the entire vote for the state. And then, and that's the only way. But he would need to flip like all four of them, because the math on election night was, Biden needed either Arizona or Nevada to fall for him. And he needed or Pennsylvania and Georgia, and he got all four of them.
Yeah, he got all of them. So they would all have to flip, which is not going to happen. I can see it being a close race if you needed one and it was really close. But dude, at this point, he has most of the electorate. You're not going to get all four of them to flip. Like, I feel like the George Bush election was one that you could have probably flipped a little bit because I think they were off, but he had like 270 something. Like he was barely made it. This is not that. And so it's funny because in 2016, when Trump did win by a similar margin, he was saying it was a landslide. It was a landslide. I won. Like, and then now fast forward to this, and all of a sudden the system is rigged and everyone hates him and it's fake news. And it's just people being petty.
Well, he did
in my opinion.
He was saying that the last election was rigged because he said he should have won the popular vote because a million immigrants voted.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and then
which is hilarious because when you're in the country illegally, the first thing you want to do is get yourself, in danger to maybe get locked up because you want to vote so badly. That's what all my immigrant friends do.
Yeah, that's what you want to do is go in there and present your fake ass ID so you can get arrested.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
because your livelihood doesn't depend on it.
So
totally.
So they get the and Kurt's watching. He says some states broke their own law or rule. That's why they were saying. I'm not going to say he says it or he says I think. But I think.
So what does that mean though?
Well, I think
broke their own law
the thinking. So obviously, COVID threw a wrench into the election. Or if you believe the deep state conspiracy, COVID was specifically released to affect the election.
Yeah.
So this is conspiracy Lou here, or Republic Lou, MAGA Lou here, if you want to call me MAGA Lou. But the deep conspiracy is that COVID is a manufactured disease that was released in the worldwide to affect the U.S. election.
I love how egocentric we are. We're just like, I think we're the center of the fucking universe. It's great.
Furthermore, the goal would be, and this is something that Trump, because one thing Trump does stuff is he blurts out, "Oh, we got the fire going on for Fireside Chats."
What? It just turned on its own?
Well, it was. I put some firewood in there, and it finally caught. So damn, that's blazing. That's blazing.
That is high.
That's hold on a second. That's funny. But basically, okay. So the first COVID package included additional help for states for mail-in voting due to the pandemic, basically making it even easier for states and people to vote remotely. And Trump blurted it out in an interview. They have some stuff in there that's, that if we put it in, a Republican will never win an election again because Republicans, and this is the reason that Trump was rallying 3 or 4 times a day, Republicans get the fuck out and go vote. They love to get up on election day because for a certain amount of them, it's easier for them to take a day off work or, blah, 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 and go vote. Day of voting, they wanted. The election was strictly a day of voting. If there was no COVID, no matter how much we hated Trump, but everybody still had to get up and go vote, I think Trump would have still won the election. I think that no matter what, he would have won if it was day of voting. But because a lot of states expanded to mail-in voting, I think what some of the things that they're bitching about is that the people who made a decision, yes, we're going to accept mail-in ballots 3 days after the election if they were postmarked, or we're going to give this extension and we're going to give this extension. They're trying to say that by law, the only people that can make that change is state legislature or state courts. One of them did it, and it was supposed to be the other one. So what they're trying to do is basically invalidate a large percent. Their Hail Mary is to invalidate a large percentage or any votes that came in after Election Day. That's the reason that they didn't want to fully fund the United States Postal Service because of that, because they wanted to slow down mails so that it came in after election, which is what they figured. Because they figured Democrats and young people talk a good game, but they also are a bit snowflakey, and they're a bit like, oh, well, I don't feel good today, so I'm not going to vote, or enough people are going to vote him out, or, you know what I mean? Like they also, I feel like, because they didn't come out, they don't come out. It's just a fact. They all talk, and they all say they fucking hate it, and they all say they want change, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't show at the polls of people coming out. So mail-in voting became paramount to the Democratic Party's attempts to get rid of Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's I guess where the paranoia comes in, to where it's like, oh well, you changed it, you're allowing votes to come in after 3 days, blah blah blah, etc.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Okay, so well, first of all, my biggest point, I guess, is it's a democracy at the end of the day. So whether your guy wins or loses, you should want, as a citizen, for the most votes to be counted, right? At least I do. Even if Trump were to win, if he would have won the popular vote, that's just the country that I live in, and sucks to suck, but like he would have won and I would have hated it. But like most people, I want for most people to count, or to be counted and to vote. That's just my point of view. And I think that should be every American. If you're actually like, into democracy and agree with the country and the Constitution, you should want for the most votes to be counted as possible. So that's point one. Point two, mail-in ballots have been a thing for a very long time. The fact that some states decided to start it, or I guess kind of like make it more popularize it more this particular election, was because of COVID. But they have been a thing for a very long time. Absentee ballots, mail-in votes, they have always been around as far as technology has been a thing. So, and even before that, the mail system. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where people are all of a sudden scapegoating it, but it's been around and it has worked and it's been effective, and it has never been a situation to worry about or to cause any type of uproar until now. So that's another thing that I don't understand. And I had another point. As soon as you were talking, I had something else that I was like, oh, I should say that as well. It escapes me. But those are the two things when it comes to mail-in ballots that I just don't understand the uproar. That Democrats don't go out. I disagree. I agree that Republicans, they're great. They're like super love to get out and vote. I agree with that. I also think that like old Democrats and white Democrats and affluent Democrats, I think that they love to get out and vote as well. I think it's more so the working class. I think at that point we're getting into a working class divide more so than a bipartisan divide. I think that it is.
Election day should be a holiday.
At least in my circle.
Election day should be a paid holiday.
Oh, it should, for sure. It should be encouraged. That's what I mean. I'm like, in a democracy, we should everyone should get the day off, and everyone should be able and willing and wanting and accepting of everyone's votes. So I don't understand this whole thing of like, stop the count. Like, I don't get it. Like, if you lost, you lost. I don't know what to tell you. Get over it. I don't know. And we did so in 2016. So I understand. I understand that it sucks. But stopping the vote is just not equivalent to democracy. So
no blue wave.
And mail-in ballots are not a scapegoat. They're just not. People have done it. It's been around. It's not a new thing.
All right. Kurt says Trump's a bitch anyway. So all right, cool.
Yeah, side note, yeah.
but yeah, I guess, but they were right that a way to get a bunch of that Democrats or young people to vote is mail-in ballot, because if you say, well, you have to take a day off, it's like, fuck, I gotta take the morning off, or I gotta take the afternoon, I gotta go stand in line, I got COVID, I live, minorities are more apt to have, people that are living at home with elderly people, they don't send them to a fucking to a home,
Yeah, well, I think that's a reason why most voters are older, because it's just easier to get them out. Young people, you really have to work to get them.
Right, but if you're a 19-year-old exennial or millennial or whatever, and you get this piece of paper in the mail, right, and then you get all you have to do is put Biden,
boop, boop, boop.
put it in the mailbox, make a TikTok about it, and send it in. Then it's going to be a lot easier for you to. It's going to be you're going to be more apt to do it, I think. And I think, like I said, Trump gave away the plan when he said, if we put this stuff in here that helps this postal service, it helps, USPS, it makes it easier to vote by mail. Republicans are fucked, because he basically says, like, we're not going to win the election if all these Democrats vote. We need all our Republicans to vote, and we need the Democrats not to vote. So they're basically.
That's not a democracy.
They're basically, which is if he would have encouraged all his people to vote, but also encouraged people to mail in vote instead of fighting again and said it was fake news.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I have. Yeah, because my theory is that because he turned off and scared people his base to not do mail-in ballots pretty early on. So in my head, I think he was already preparing for his loss and kind of saying like, oh, foreshadowing, like mail-in ballots are rigged and it's horrible. Don't do it. Because he wanted everyone to, because he even encouraged doubling, like voting twice, which is illegal. He encouraged a ton of stuff like that. So I think, and discouraged them from mail-in ballots so that when more mail-in ballots get in from the Democratic side, he can say it's fake and it's rigged. I think he's really, I think he's smarter than we give him credit for in the sense that he knows how to manipulate. And I think that he was trying to get, a good base so that like a good coverage, whatever. Anyway, so for the future, once he does lose inevitably, he has that scapegoat.
Yeah, so he couldn't both encourage people to vote by mail and then use it as an excuse if he lost, So
exactly,
because they had to be looking at those numbers and realizing you're going to get fucked by mail-in ballot in some of these big cities because people are locked in their fucking apartments and they can't go nowhere, but they get mail, and they're going to just be able to just write in "fuck Trump" and do that. And
yeah.
And Kanye didn't split the black vote like people were scared of.
I think he got very little. What did he get? Was it 6,000 or 60,000? It was something like that around those. Which is sad.
All right. What's your favorite politically? What's been your favorite meme of this post-election cycle here?
Oh my God!
This is mine.
They let you do it.
Yeah. And when it's a democracy, when it's a democracy, they let you do it, Sophia.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so sad, but I love it so much. I don't know. It's my favorite meme. There's been a lot of good ones.
Oh, the you about to lose your job video. That's also
all the ones of him getting fired. Oh yeah, the one that you tagged me in. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there because it's just biting with his phone. You about to lose your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a great sentiment.
Anyway.
But yeah, Kanye was supposed to split the black vote, which is ridiculous. And the other major thing that happened is, I saw a number that up to 27% of Florida mail-in ballots might have been late, and that might account for why the numbers were so low for Latinos and minorities in Florida.
We are always late.
But then this whole thing came up about, the same way you can't, like voting blacks. They're like, there's no such thing as the black vote or the Latino vote. In states like Texas and states like Arizona, Latinos and Latinas, drove out a ton of people to vote. Arizona specifically, and Nevada most certainly, and the indigenous vote, like a lot of, like, I think the indigenous vote from people that had to come from reservations and stuff to vote was like 97% pro Biden. But the Latino vote in a lot of these, and they every election they're like, Texas is gonna go blue, Texas is gonna go blue, but not really, or not yet. But this whole thing about the Latino vote, and then there was all these articles that came out about this is what you need to understand about the Cuban American vote, and this is what you need to understand. Well, it's the same as with the African American vote. You can't tell people if you don't vote Democrat, you're not black. You can't tell people if you don't vote Democrat, you're not Latino.
Biden sure did. I'm sorry. I can say so much shit.
And we both agree that out of everybody that thought about running, for president this year, Biden was. We had 10 candidates. We ended up with 8 and 9.
Seriously.
We had one.
Somehow
We
we're
had
the
one
worst.
through. Yeah, I mean, if you had to rank the candidates, like if I had to rank the candidates right now off the top of my head, I would go Bernie, Yang,
Yang. Oh yeah.
Elizabeth,
Yep.
Pete, Amy
Tulsi.
Klobuchar, Tulsi. That's
Tulsi.
six.
Tulsi.
That's six before we even get to Biden or Harris. That's six. So
Yeah.
we're talking about if this was like a basketball game and there was just presidential candidates, they would be like picks 8 or 9. You know, they would not be top 7. Nobody picked them in their top 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did the Elizabeth Warren backstab kind on Super Tuesday kind of hurt the most because they had everybody else drop out.
They did.
You know, they did Bernie dirty. She siphoned off votes, and then boom, we get the most. We get the black and white cookie ticket, but we get the most like sugarless, like gluten-free black and white cookie we could have possibly had. You know, and still, as I check my notes, neither one of them was Donald Trump, so they still had a great shot to win.
Yeah, exactly.
The DNC is. Are you guys going to go for the progressives? Are you guys going to try to? No, we're just going to beat Trump because we believe that people don't want Trump. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they ran on. It's a great platform.
So
anyway, you were saying about the Cuban American,
right? No, so we find ourselves in a position where we're rooting for the 8th or 9th best person in the party to lead it, right? But the same way you can't. Biden said, you know, if you're not black, you don't vote Democrat, whatever. Or if you don't vote Democrat, you're not black. Or if you don't vote Democrat, you're not. And that's not really fair. Obviously, it's way more centralized. I was surprised at how many Latino males voted for Trump, even though it went down. There is this sort of, I don't know if it's a leftover machismo or if it's the people that have gotten indoctrinated or that fully assimilate into like the culture. Like if you're Mexican or Colombian or whatever, but you live in Arkansas or Florida in the middle of the country and you're going out fucking trucking and mudding and hunting and stuff like that, and all that's around you is this sort of MAGA, you know, lifestyle, right? Then I understand why these people that assimilate fully eventually turn their back, or the things that are important to Latinos like myself, Latino voters like myself, or you, like kids in fucking cages, or you know, ICE raids at a fucking meat plant on the first day of fucking elementary school, where kids come home and find out that their fucking mom got arrested at work and they're leaving the country. You know, that was the red line for me in terms of dealing with Trump supporters and Trump voters. I like to distinguish between Trump full-on supporters and Trump voters, because I believe there's a segment of people that I know that I believe are good people that voted for Trump, either abortion, gun control, stuff like that. They're single issue voters that sort of overlook that. Or if you say, well, Trump's a racist, they say, well, Biden said racist stuff. And then you're like, yeah. Or, you know what I mean? Or they're like, those people still have to be okay with a certain amount of racism in their candidate. Yeah. The thing about the Latino vote is, I think that one of the things that all these think pieces that people published and stuff like that about, like, I'm the immigrant and I'm Cuban and you got to understand that we were really traumatized by Castro. So when they put this like Biden is a communist stuff in Florida, it really works. And I'm like, well, that just means you're stupid, because you should have probably looked into it a little bit deeper. If anytime somebody says communism, you're going to vote for the guy that doesn't say that, then you're a fucking easy mark. I think what it's about is the immigrant experience in those cultures. And the key difference about the immigrant experience in those cultures is the relationship between the United States and the country that you're immigrating for. Okay. So since the 40s, 50s, since communism has been in place, if you get on a boat from Cuba and you make it to U.S. soil and you seek asylum, or if you're in a baseball team that comes to the USA and you skip out the back door and you go talk to immigration and you seek asylum, you are immediately granted a host of things by the United States that Mexicans, Colombians, and any other Latino um, race gets, right? That is because of the relationship between the U.S. and Cuba, right? So if all you have to do is make it to the U.S. and you're in, then it is much different than a Mexican, Nicaraguan, Salvadorian, Colombian, Brazilian that gets to the U.S. You can't seek asylum because the relationship between your country and the U.S. is stable. You can't. You have to just kind of get in and then wait for something like DACA or wait for an amnesty or try to get married or whatever it is that you have to do. And that is an entirely different experience as an immigrant than the Cuban experience. So since the Cuban immigrant experience features an automatic path to citizenship, if you make it from Cuba to the U.S., they embrace you. You're leaving communism. They bring you in. They give you paperwork right away. You know that if you stay here, you might be poor. You're a Latino. You're in the United States, but you are thankful for what the United States is giving you. So you are much more. You have a much more pleasant experience than if you live in Mexico and you come across the border to be a day laborer or a seasonal worker or pick fruit or et cetera, and you're sending money back because you're only here temporarily. You're only here until you get caught. You're only here until you get flagged somewhere. Something happens and you need to figure a way to get the fuck out. Even people that we know that are part of the DACA program that are like, I don't know if I could pursue my career goals because I need to be worried about this DACA shit getting taken away and I'm going to get kicked out. So I'm just going to get the steady job, right? And not worry about that. So I think the thing that is missed the most about that conversation is the immigrant experience of the families that are affected. So the Cuban immigrant experience is completely different from the Colombian, Mexican, Brazilian, any other Latinx experience that's out there when it comes to trying to get into this country because of the relationship they have. So that's basically my take on it is that, and if you're around that culture in Southern Florida, there's also, the people the Latinos that are in Southern Florida are also a little bit more affluent. They've moved to Florida from other places like New York and places like that. And the Latinos in Florida are doing pretty good. Yeah. So they're also a little bit more apt. So I think to say that the Latino vote is stupid. Obviously, I think we've learned this election that we really can't, rely on any of that sort of statistic. You have to really talk inside of the culture. It's got to be both a Latino and a regional thing, right? So that's kind of my rant on that. How do you react to that?
No, yeah, I completely agree. I think that when it comes to politics, a lot of times, like, they like to treat each group as like a monolith, and they just think that, like, oh, the Latino vote, they're going to definitely vote this way, and the Black vote, they have to, let's throw a Black lady on the ballot, and hey, all the Black people are going to come, and they're going to be super happy about it.
We'll have her come.
That didn't happen. Kamala did not get any Black votes. And I think it's just, I understand why it's done, but I think that you can't really paint with such a broad brush, because at the end of the day, I do think it's regional. I think that it matters what area. I think it's also has to do with class. And it probably has to do with education as well. There was a really huge education, like, separation when it came to how they voted, with whether people that had degrees and people that didn't. And yeah, I just think it has, I don't know, it's complex. It's complex, and I'm not apt to do polling or to analyze anything like that. But yeah, no, I totally agree that as far as the Latino vote is concerned, I think that they're doing really broad strokes, and it's not It's not like that at all. It's not helpful. It's not factual. So, yeah. What happened? You're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself there. But, no, here's all right. I'm gonna share this with you real quick here. So another of my theories is that Latinos, especially in Southern Florida, fan of a little show called Sábado Gigante. Right. So
what does Don Francisco have to do with politics, man?
Now, if you look at these two side by side,
oh no,
you can see a little bit. They just kind of have in terms of like a big guy. They're both kind of big, beefy. You know, they have a strong presence. Both TV famous, right? Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a little crossover Don Francisco love that carried over to Trump is what I'm saying from the Latinos. I think that they don't mind the surly, large talk show game host, blah blah blah, reality type guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Okay.
There's a little bit to that.
See what I did there.
It's my little Don Francisco take.
That's a good theory.
Yeah, so I'm blaming Sábado Gigante. I guess is what I'm.
Yeah, let's riot. I think.
Let's riot.
Oh wait, we won. What? We don't have to. But no. Hey man, that might be because he's like dad. He's like Latino America's dad. You know.
Right. So and Latinos aren't as caught up.
Creepy uncle.
Yeah, they don't need their politicians to be like in their heroes to be in super great shape. I guess as much
exactly.
If we can, you know, I'm very proud. True that. But what you said is true. We don't have to riot. Who's rioting now is the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys, and it was hilarious. To see the Proud Boys leading the parade of MAGA because it was the blue and yellow Proud Boys in their little attire at the front of the line. And then as you got further in the march, then it was the people with the America flags and the blue and red MAGA stuff and things like the Trump 2020 flags. But they were literally being led down the street by white nationalists, the non-apologetic Western chauvinists, as they like to call themselves, Proud Boys, being led. And then the Million MAGA March was more like the 17,000 MAGA March, something like that.
Oh my God.
But it's I don't know. I think that it's going to be scary for the next 65 days until between now and then where he finally either goes to Mar-a-Lago and disappears and there will be a transition of power. But during these next 2 months, he's going to inflame these people so much and they're going to have these rallies. There's going to be clashes. The advice that's out there is we won, stay the fuck home. You don't need to go counter protest. But there was some Antifa, BLM people out there, more on the extreme side of the right, that did some shitty stuff in Washington, D.C. Like I said, they were beating people down. Sometimes the people were literally asking for it. Sometimes it seemed like it was a little bit over the line. But there's going to be a lot of shit hitting the wall over the next couple of days. Do you agree? Over the next couple of months, right? I
think so. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know some Trump supporters, and it's awkward, and so I can't even imagine on like a bigger. I live in California, so I don't know many, but like I can't even imagine in like other states where people are actually really riled up. And once you have so many people that believe the same conspiracies, you get groupthink, right? And then that leads you to do crazy shit. And when you have the president who's only riling them up a little more, like. It's scary. It's scary. And then, I mean, the far left, I mean, if they go out, they're not going to like what they hear with the MAGA people. And so why are we exposing ourselves? Anyway, I don't know what I just said. Did I say words?
So words
are a thing. I just ranted. I don't know. Yikes. I just don't like the state of affairs in this country and I want to move out. Okay. But guess what? Other countries won't take me. So,
No,
yikes.
no, you'll be all right. No, but I think that what you said earlier was correct, which is that even like let's say there was no mail-in voting and everybody had to go out and vote this year, regardless of COVID or whatnot. But whatever it is, if at the end of the day Trump got more votes than Biden, it wouldn't necessarily. I don't know that I would be like rioting or thinking that there was like a fixed election. I think I would just be more like depressed that I live here.
Exactly. I would be sad and demoralized in the country. But would I riot? No. I mean, it's just yeah. I think
we would I think we would sort of look down on the Democratic Party like, see, we told you. You put up a creeper against a creeper and this is what happened.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. And I do honestly believe that I think that had COVID-19 not happened, Trump might have won, honestly. Because it was pretty neck and neck in the polls. And I think that Trump's response to the coronavirus helped a lot because his response was just so inept and so. I think that whoever those Trump voters, like you call them, I love, by the way, that you separate them into Trump supporters, like the too far gones is what I call them, the TFGs, and Trump voters, who are people who actually vote for Trump for actual, like maybe policy reasons, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But those people can be swayed because if the other candidate says something that they like, they will hop. And I think that his response to the coronavirus was definitely really, really subpar. And I think that it turned off a lot of people and it turned them into Biden voters. He might have won. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it was like, I think it's just so fucking, so weird that 72 million people were still like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah,
exactly. Like we won and I'm happy about it, but I'm also like, the next election is only 4 years from now, and we don't. I believe we didn't get the Senate, right? Is that over yet?
There are two senatorial runoffs in Georgia. Okay. So basically, it's all going to come down to whether they can win both Senate seats in Georgia to be able to have control of the Senate, which kind of puts a whole hole in the theory of they fixed the election but failed to fix the Senate.
Yeah, which is like, here's the thing. I'm seeing a trend, right? So it's Democrats love not doing shit. They love not doing shit and saying that they couldn't do it because of the House or because of the Senate. They love having a reason, an excuse. So Obama didn't do shit. What's his excuse? He's always like, "Oh, well,
me the whole time.
they always blocked my bill." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bitch, you had the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court at one point. You didn't do shit. You weren't gonna do shit. You didn't like. It's so.
Obama was a.
It saddens me because
Obama was a centrist.
Sorry, go ahead.
Obama was a centrist disguised as a progressive. He was definitely a centrist.
Yeah. He's even said so too. He says, I agree a lot more with the Republican ideals than I do with the progressives. And he's said that. Those are his words. But anyway, what I was saying is Democrats love having an excuse. And so if we don't get the Senate, I mean, we already don't have the Supreme Court. The only changes that we can make is through executive action. I just don't see Biden doing any executive action. And with 4 years of stagnation and nothing happening, what's going to happen? People are going to get more angry. And what's going to happen in the next election? We're going to go back to being back to the right. Whoever the Republican candidate is probably going to win.
I mean,
and this is going to be a pendulum. It's just going to be swinging.
There's a Trump running. Trump running in 2024. Whether it's Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr. or Ivanka, there is a Trump run. Put it on the board. There is a Trump running for president in 2024. And what did Trump love the most about being president?
I don't know. What did he?
funneling money to his golf clubs because
Oh yeah.
no. What he loved most about being president is campaigning for president and having rallies. He had a campaign rally for 2020 like a month after winning the election. Like, he's never stopped having campaign rallies for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He had campaign rallies in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Well, he doesn't believe it's real.
Where the numbers tell us that he caused people to die. There's 130 Secret Service personnel that's either quarantined or has COVID. 130 Secret Service personnel, because they do advanced scouting and because they have to protect them at all these fucking rallies. 130 either quarantining because they might have been exposed to COVID or that have it. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So he loves. So why wouldn't he, when he finally comes to his senses, when the fucking Ritalin wears off, where the steroids wear off, and he's sitting there depressed in his fucking bathtub in the White House, pouting, and then he's like, "Well, for the next 4 years, I can run for president again." He can have people give him money for his campaign that he can funnel to his business. He'll be running for president. He'll be holding rallies. His speech will be all about, oh, they robbed us the last election. Oh, all the fraud and stuff like that. And Hillary and Obama and Biden. Like the business of politics and the media machine. Like, I was convinced by day 3 of me staring at Fox News, because I was watching Fox News, because I wanted to watch them when I wanted to watch them say that Biden won.
Oh, that must have been weird.
So I was alternating between CNN and Fox News, and like everybody was watching for like 4 straight days, from Tuesday to Saturday. We were in, like, advertising wise, money wise, how much money did they make in those 5 days? Because everybody was watching. So that's feeding the beast, right? In my opinion. But he gets to feed the beast for 4 more years if he wants. Once he's like, okay, you know what? Election's been certified. He writes out the tweet, I'm going to Mar-a-Lago to think about it. And then fucking boom, boom. He stays there. He's like, oh, I'm going to just concede. He's not going to show up at the inauguration like a little fucking bitch. Then it wouldn't surprise me if on inauguration day, he holds a rally like in Florida, like the anti-inauguration rally, he with like 500,000 people, and he's just like, like he gets to go out and bitch and moan for the next 4 years and have rallies and give speeches and walk out to all these adoring fucking fans. 72 million people looked at him as a president and said, okay, yeah, I'm still with it. I'm still okay with that.
Yeah, that is baffling for sure. I mean, he's set for life. He's good. I think he'll be back. Or even if he's not, I do think that it's a yo-yo economy that we have going on. Not economy, I guess. Legislature. Yeah. So right now we're blue, but after 4 years of inaction, we're gonna probably go back to red, and then yikes.
2 questions that I have are, because allegedly New York State Southern District Court is just waiting for him to leave office, which is kind of the reason people are saying he's not running to stay in office, he's running to stay out of jail, right? Okay. So, but then there's also this thing of, as a country, we don't usually persecute ex-presidents. We just kind of see ourselves as above that, right? So this sort of, and then I don't agree with this Democratic make a list thing, because they're literally making a blacklist of people that worked for Trump to be able to punish them in the future, basically saying it's not okay that you took a job, which is, I think it's a bit ridiculous. I think it's scary, honestly, that the far left is pushing this narrative of let's punish these people. I understand not wanting them to get a job, but they will. And like the whole Ivanka and and is not going to be welcome into New York social life anymore is a load of bullshit. Because if there's one thing famous people like is other famous people,
Yeah,
and there's
exactly.
there's no way you're going to be like, oh, Ivanka's coming to your party. I'm not going to the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to be there. She might get some side eye. You know,
Yeah.
Rihanna
She
might
might get
fucking throw a
ignored.
drink at her. Rihanna might throw a
Yeah.
drink at her. But
Let's
I fucking guarantee you that somebody's gonna want to ask her how the fuck it was going to the White House, just out of curiosity. You know?
No.
Like,
I mean,
right?
yeah, the people saying that are not in that lifestyle. So I would love for them to be just blacklisted off of events, not off of jobs. I think that's something different. Like, I mean, everyone should be employed, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to like, some social events, brings me such joy to think that Ivanka would not get invited somewhere that she really wants to go.
Like the Met Ball.
But that's not like the Met Ball, but that's not going to happen. Because rich people don't care because they're rich. Sorry. They just don't care that we don't have Medicare for all because they're fine. So no, they're not going to hold any resentment towards her. They might, like you said, maybe some do feel strongly enough to give her side eye. That's worst case scenario.
Yeah, like nobody's.
Yeah, in my opinion, nobody gives a shit.
So that's the question. Does he fold up the shop and say Trump TV? Does he go all in? OAN or Newsmax, one of those organizations. It's go ahead.
I was just gonna say it seems like a likely possibility. I was like reading about it earlier, and it's scary to think about because right now, because Fox is like the right I guess like sort of preach network. Everyone every conservative watches it, and that's their Bible, so to speak. But the backlash that you've seen from Trump and kind of like them parting ways, Trump and Fox, it's a little scary because I feel like Trump is loving being the leader of this cult, and this cult is loving their Lord and Savior Donald Trump. And for as much as I hate Fox, they have to have at least one toe in reality, which is why they had to call the election, right? In order to be seen as like a credible news source, which they're not, but in order to be looked at like that, they have to kind of keep some semblance of reality in what they spew. And so that's why they called the election, and Trump doesn't like that. Trump wants yes people. Trump is a little mi rey, and he just wants yes people around him. He wants loyalty. He wants that cult following. And so if Trump TV does happen, it's scary because that cult following will follow. We'll stop watching Fox News, which I mean I don't care much for them, but it is scary to go through for those mid people that are not too far gone yet to then only feed their news source only to be like AON and Trump TV and stuff like that. That would be really anyway, that would be really scary.
So he gets to run for president for 4 years, right? He gets to have his.
I think he's going to do the.
You think the network?
I think he would do the network.
Maybe, but I think in Trump plays. Maybe they prop up Don Jr. for a run. I guess.
Maybe.
I
don't know. We're all speculating here. We don't know.
But so we ended up at the basic worst case scenario because we knew it was going to be a tight election. We knew that Trump is always, they were asking him, would you concede? I don't know. I have to see, blah, blah. He's doing all these crazy moves, replacing like heads of department in the Pentagon and other stuff, which people don't know whether it's because he's preparing for a coup, whether it's because he wants loyalists in there to destroy evidence of all the shit he was doing. He's also last minute doing a bunch of fucking arms deals. He's opening up like drilling rights. Today they said they were going to open up drilling rights in the like Alaskan Reserve, which both of those things are probably which might be kickbacks that he's getting. Like, hey, you're going to leave office, sign this shit. Where as soon as you get out of here, we'll give you like 10 speaking engagements, $5 million a piece, right? So that's $50 million on a like $50 billion oil project. You know what I mean? That would be nothing, but that could help him pay his debt or whatever. And if you're a corrupt piece of shit anyway, right? Then why would he? Why
would he take it?
Why wouldn't you do that, right? So that's the thing that people are looking out for. Who he's going to pardon, to kind of cement his base. Like if he pardoned that Rittenhouse dude that shot the people in Portland, like imagine if he pardons that kid. Imagine, you know what I'm saying? Like how that would cement him with the fringe right, like as their god, is scary. He could go full. What was that one movie? Demolition Man, where he pardons a bunch of like criminals and gangs, and just that would be hilarious if Trump tried to like take a bunch of gangs out of prison that were loyal to him and just started his own like Trump fucking army. What kind of sweetheart deals? What kind of sweetheart deals he's going to cut for people on his way out? Who he's going to pardon? How he's going to set himself up for afterwards? Then every conspiracy and all the MAGA people they have somebody to hate. Life, the president doesn't change that much about your life day to day. It can, but when you need him to lead, you need somebody that can actually lead, not that somebody for themselves. Obviously, so Trump during COVID obviously caused a lot of bullshit that probably couldn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it big picture wise, other than some regulations and some tax breaks that are not gonna, like, coincidentally, that meme which was like, hey, if your roof looks like this or if your house looks like this, don't worry about the tax rate. Don't worry about the tax code. And I have like 7 of those pictures. Like I'm so like if your walls look like this, and I'm looking at the meme, and then I look at my wall, I'm like, yeah, my wall does look like that.
Oh shit!
If your ceiling looks like this, and I'm like,
damn. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, so if you're a run of the mill everyday MAGA, and you're just like, fuck your feelings, Trump 2020 bitches, fuck you snowflakes, but you're just kind of like going along with it because you're a bully and you're just like, hey, I'm on the Trump team, fuck it, pick a side, don't matter, both of them are racist, both of them suck, both of them are dudes. You know what I mean? Like if you're just one of those people, you get to keep hating the left.
Yeah.
You get to scream at us that we stole the election for 4. You guys stole that election. You get to scream that. You get to, not my president. You get all those. You get to have all those talking points. It gives you something to root for. It gives you something to do, to believe in for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
That the election was stolen. That your QAnon God got robbed. That Nancy Pelosi sucks, which she kind of does.
She does.
She does. Yeah. Our governor had a fucking get together with like 15 people when he was telling everybody to stay the fuck home. You get to be angry for the next 4 years. You get to listen to you get to do all those things. You said.
We got to do that for the last 4 years.
And
so that's nice. We got to take it out on Trump. We made memes. It was great.
Exactly.
It was a great time.
While you're pissed, guess what? You might get better health care. You might get to continue to be mad, continue to be angry, continue to go to rallies, but your life will actually be getting better because Biden is president.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's such a fucking weird position for that. They're actually in a pretty good position because even though Trump lost, if you look at it overall, it is better for them, for everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody, whether you're
if you're a certain tax bracket income,
and they're all broke,
and lower,
they spend their money on their fucking wheels on their trucks. They're all broke.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It seems like they just like to be on a bandwagon and yell and scream. But if you really talk to like a person who is too far gone, it's not like a sensical conversation that you will have because they don't care. Like it's not that they don't care. It's just that they don't. They don't really speak of policy. It's more so like you said. It's like snowflakes and Trump is amazing and all this shit. And so
it's a cult
attitude.
It's
the
fact that we live in a country where 72 million people signed up for that voluntarily is insane, though. I am happy that 150 million people voted. Like I said, I want to know where I live. It's about if you believe in democracy and democracy is about the rule of the people, then, like I said this, I guess 4 years ago, I was like, fuck. Like, they underestimated how much they fucking hated Hillary. You know, she was fucking pandering, and nobody bought her shit. You know, and white people were really mad that they had a black president for 4 years or something. And they're like, nope, we're coming out. We're winning. We're gonna ride with this asshole, and because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the country we live in. I'm gonna have to write it out for the next 4 years. We're gonna all have to write it out for the next 4 years, and hopefully we can fix those voting machines real good so that we win next one. And apparently, yes, we did. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can hack voting machines through Dominion. And it's funny, like I said, me and you, both Bernie bros, right?
Yeah. Bernie bro.
And we would have been able to be like pathetic if they if Trump had won, you know, we'd have the high moral ground. See, you should have let Bernie run.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We would have gone to talk shit regardless. It's great. It's just like Democrats.
And I think Bernie still would have lost Florida because he would have hit him with the communist shit. But
he might have won Texas though.
He might have won Texas. He definitely would have still lost Florida.
Chuck Rocha over there, and Chuck Rocha he was the one who really, really started the whole Theo Bernie thing with the Latino base. I don't know, man. I think that once you offer Medicare for all to people in a pandemic, I think it looks good.
Yeah. But he definitely would have lost Florida. He would have won, and then I don't know how he wasn't a much better choice. But again, DNC wanted somebody that they could control. DNC wanted somebody that their corporate overlords would be happy with, that wasn't going to offend it. You know, like I said, once Joe Biden, the day after Bernie dropped out or Biden won the nomination, what stocks went up? Healthcare stocks, private medicine stocks, and they were going down. Why? Because Biden was the presumptive candidate, and they're like, oh, we're going to get fucked on this. Yeah. My last question to you, based on the last question that I have, basically, and then we want to get on to some more fun stuff.
Okay, cool.
Since I think about an hour of politics as much as I can handle.
Yeah, that'll do it for me.
But the last point I wanted to bring up on this was the AOC sort of left-wing pledge to sort of hold Biden accountable. Okay. Because Biden laid out a shit ton of stuff that he's like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Right. The first four are, I think, COVID, systemic racism, police reform,
Paris Climate Accord, getting us back into the Iran deal. I know, I read that.
But they also said path to citizenship for immigrants. They also said, a bunch of other shit that boom, boom, taking the kids out of cages. That would be a nice start. Et cetera, et cetera.
Even though you were the one that put them there, but okay. It happened over the Obama administration. I'm just saying.
No, I agree with that. Like, I'm middle of the road, so I can totally say that. But if your answer is, yeah, you the one that built the cages, I'm the one that put them in the cages, and you're trying to take the moral high ground, that was just like, it's like, no. It's like, you put kids in cages. You built the cages.
No, they put people in literally Obama was a deporter in chief. Like Obama deported more there.
Obama deported more people than any president. Obama drone killed more people than any president. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's a progressive. He's a progressive in poster only. His poster is the only thing progressive about Obama. Obama was a right-leaning centrist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm. So because he was like, what do we got? We got a spy program. Read people's text messages. Yeah, let's keep that going. Oh, we got we got drones up there going to kill a bunch of brown people. Yeah, let's keep that going. Yeah, that's good. Like all that shit.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. But AOC and all these people are saying that do you think that they're actually going to be able to put enough pressure on them because what they said is anybody that ran for universal health care, anybody that only a couple of people that were for that
they won
got beat. So
yeah.
So if they win the Senate, blah blah. Like, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're almost thinking that it's better for the heads in charge like Nancy, Schumer, everybody, that there is a split Senate. That way they can sort of hem and haw and kind of do back deal shit. But if the Democrats win the Senate, then there's going to be a lot of pressure from progressives to stack the court, do a progressive agenda, do all this shit. You know, so how do you see that? How do you see that that playing out?
Well, I know I want it to work out. I want their pressure to be effective. My cynical side and more realist side, though, I don't think it's going to be effective because, I mean, they're still outnumbered by neoliberal corporatists, so they're not gonna listen to them. If anything, they might concede in a couple of things. Like we might get Biden care. And Biden care might have, I don't know, they might switch some stuff, right? Maybe lower copays, who knows? But we're not, I don't know. I don't think we have the numbers stacked up in our favor. And I don't think that our presence is still like big enough to switch in any way or to get them to lean left. I think that the country as a whole is very right. And from what I've seen from neoliberal Democrats lately has been that they have been super happy to start working with Republicans. I think that it's more so going to be the Republicans and the Democrats ganging up on the progressives, if anything. And yeah, I hope that Bernie does, and AOC sway them. But I think it's hard to think think that we are going to get something as radical as Medicare for All. And I hate using the word radical because it's not. It's something that's common sense and we should have. But from where we are at politically to get that through, it's like such a long way to the finish line that I'm just like, I don't know how far they'll get Biden to run on that. But I sure hope that we get common sense stuff like that enacted in our fucking lives soon. So I hope I live to see it.
We'll get through it. January 20th can't get far enough. We just have to sort of ignore all the fucking bullshit over the next 2 months. Just focus on getting through this bullshit, getting with the blah, 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 this and that. And before you know it, it'll be like, I mean, he's not going to. Yeah,
thankfully, I mean, I'm in grad school, so I don't have time to.
You don't got time for that bullshit.
Well, anyway. I got time for this shit. When you said we were glued to the TV, I was glued to my computer writing papers. I don't know what's happening.
The majority. I speak for
heard about it later.
The majority of the world.
Of the world.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I work from home and at my desk, so I have 18. Yeah, I have like literally 60 tabs open at all times. So I'm watching stuff, and I'm just like, I'm seeing everything,
I'm so envious of that, by the way.
All right, so let's transition out of politics.
Yeah. I gotta go.
What do you guys? Now I notice. But the thing I noticed about this tweet is that you didn't.
Oh wait, other way.
Hold on, I gotta take a picture of that. Look up at that tweet.
I can't run for president ever now.
No, you cannot. No. The thing I noticed about this tweet that's funny to me is that you just hashtagged that you didn't add her. So a little bit. Well,
I don't think she has a Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't think she does.
Okay.
She doesn't have an Instagram, that's for sure. But
I'm sorry. Do you have anything to say for yourself there? Were you delirious from studying there?
I was deep in the lesbian side of YouTube, watching a ton of SNL, which then became like Kate McKinnon's Best Moments, which just became Kate McKinnon being a gay goddess for like 5 minutes straight. And then I was just like, listen, I love this woman. I'm obsessed. And yeah. And can't she just sit in my face already? Because we'd love to see that.
All right, we're going to take... All right, so I got a couple of Am I the Assholes to share with you.
Okay.
And I know you have a no names way as well, right?
Sort of. I'm trying to think of how to formulate it because this is actually someone that I know.
Okay, We can. Well, that's the whole thing. We can do that.
Hold on, in my head.
All right. So
Yeah,
we're gonna. But I need to take a 30-second break real quick. So we're gonna do. We'll be back in under a minute. We are talking with Sofia Carrillo. We did an hour on politics. I'm gonna let everybody know that now we're gonna be switching on to relationship advice. We're going to review a couple of I the asshole scenarios. If you haven't seen that on Reddit, it's people that put up posts basically asking people, this is what happened to me. Am I the asshole? Usually for me, in that situation, the answer is yes. But again, that's differently. Want to just remind everybody quickly, thank you for watching. Kurt, as always, anybody else who's commented, I'll get to catch up on those in a minute. Follow us to imburrito.com. Obviously, facebook.com/2imburrito, twitch.tv/2imburrito, youtube.com/2imburrito. And the pod is fucking Dorito, burrito, whatever. And bigchiefburrito.podbean.com. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I am trying to promote friends and family that have businesses for the Christmas and holiday season. Yeah, I'm going to get. I was going to actually ask you for a link to your guys' page or whatever.
Okay.
If you put that in the private chat, I'll share it afterwards. But I have a friend, Michelle, who is in Hawaii, and she has a company called M&M Custom Designs, and you can find them on Etsy. And they have a lot of customized stuff where they can make you like a customized like a chopping block for like your dad. That's a pretty cool homemade gift. They can make customized hats here. Local girl, this is there in Hawaii, so a lot of their stuff is island centric. They also have like different kinds of clothing here. Stuff like that. So check them out on Etsy. It's M&M Custom Designs with a K. They ship anywhere in the United States. So obviously, it's a pandemic. The people that have gotten hit the hardest are small businesses. That's the biggest fucking thing. That's the biggest thing where people get political. I understand the need for a lockdown, but I also do think that it would have been cool for us to find a way, if everybody just wore a mask and people just limited the time that they spent in stores, that it would have been cool for people to be able to keep their businesses open. So I guess, like I said, this is why I think that even though I don't have anybody that's paying me for sponsorship, I think that'll come down the line once we get that. I still do get between, in terms of the views and interactions that I have, usually about 1,700 impressions, and usually between 300 and 500 plays on most of the podcast. On most of the streams, at least. So I know that there is some people that watches. So I want to promote my friends and family's business. So if I know you and you have a business that you would like me to promote, hit me up, send me the link, and just like I'm promoting M&M Custom Designs on Etsy, I will promote. And obviously, Sofia Carrillo. Is your family doing like catering and stuff like that, and still for parties and stuff where people can buy a bunch of tasty food instead of,
Yes, I believe they're doing catering with a limited amount of people, and obviously all the rules enforced. We are still open at the restaurant. I believe indoor dining. Now we can't do that, but there's outdoor dining and there's takeout. We were in actually Univision the other day. Ooh. My dad got interviewed. Yeah, he was like, come support. He was looking all cute. Yeah.
Nice. And that's La Original Casa del Taco, right?
La Original Casa del Taco. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can send you the link to it. I mean, I guess I could just give you the app, right?
Yeah, is there? I mean, if they look that up on Facebook, they'll find it, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the app for...
Okay.
Did I spell that correctly? Casa del Taco. La Original. No, okay, yeah, it's correct. And are we on... Are we doing the 30-second thing, or are we?
We're we're still live right now. I was waiting for you to give me that so that I could go, so I could hit the break thing. But
yeah.
But yeah, so
that is on Facebook.
got it.
We
So
have
that's
a Instagram as well. That one is Al Original CDT, CDT. Yeah.
cool. So these are the
Yes.
two people that I'm promoting this week. Thank you, Sophia, for being a guest. We are going to
Thank
take
you.
a quick break and come back and get into some Am I the Asshole? Relationship advice, pop culture, and we'll finish up this edition of Fireside Chats with an actual fire that was on earlier. All right, so we'll be back in less than a minute. Thank you for watching. And we are back. Two-way
Hello.
burrito crew, Sofia
Hi.
Carrillo, Big Chief Burrito here live on a Monday, 2 weeks post-election. Hey! And we're done with political talk because we had to get it out of the way. We had to get it out of the way, but now we just focus on fun, situational stuff. One quick rant I did have is that I watched Queen's Gambit, which I haven't watched yet, and I thought it was very well done. Like, it hooked me. Like, I was like, all right, let me check it out, and I was in. Then, and this is another fucking sucky shit about society, There's an interview with the star who happens to be from. She left Argentina when she was like 6, 7 years old, moved to London. She's an actress. She still has a perfect Argentinian accent. So, she's Latina as far as I'm concerned. But right away, it was like, oh, we should be proud that we have a Latina actress in such a great show. And then immediately it was like, well, she's not Latina enough because she's, pale skinned, I guess, or what have you. What are we calling them? Like vanilla beaners? And I just thought,
Wait, that's what we're calling him now. I love it. What's it called? Me? I mean, I'm a vanilla beaner.
I mean, like, she's not that much dark. She's not that much lighter than you. Like I think it's such a fuck. And then they're like, oh, well, she's a Latina in name only because she moved to London and she's white, so she's got white privilege. And I'm just like, man, can we just? This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah,
we can't just enjoy the fact that there's a Latina actress, who was born in South America and moved to London, became an actress, still embraces the culture, doesn't deny her heritage, is happy to talk about that fact, and we just have to shit on it. We just have to figure out a reason to be mad. And I'm like, I was just kind of watching this thing happen from, and I'm just like, wow, like we're so fucked.
It's ridiculous. I just
no wonder the aliens won't make contact with us.
Exactly. We've been talking enough shit about the far right.
Yeah.
But how about like this like overly woke far left where they're just like constant. I mean, they're not as toxic, but they're just so annoying in the sense of like everything has to be nitpicked and everything has to be problematic and we have to cancel everything.
Anytime
Can't we just have nice things?
Anytime anytime it starts with the problem with,
the problem with it. I get it. There are problems. I understand that like colorism has been a thing in Latin America, and television and everything has shown actresses and actors that are light skinned, and so it's nice when we get a dark skinned Latino somewhere. But that doesn't make her not Latina. That doesn't make it something that we shouldn't be at least a little happy about. You can feel however you want to feel about it, but like let other people feel happy. Yeah. Damn it.
So let's throw some love to the vanilla beaners. I mean, I'm half white Latino. My dad's from Uruguay, which is about as Argentina and Uruguay are about as white as you can possibly get. The thing that people try to throw in Argentina's face is that here's what I was told when I lived down there, which is if you'll notice, there are not a lot of black people in Argentina. Like if you look at their soccer clubs or their clubs, because the people
they're racist as fuck.
No, they killed a lot of indigenous people in Argentina, much more so than they did in Uruguay. In Uruguay, there is still a small black Uruguayan community. There is still a dark, because there's the indigenous people in Uruguay, from my half-assed knowledge of politics and of the history of that area is what I know. This is like third-hand knowledge, but they do have a traditional. Plus, a lot of Italians and Germans needing a place to blend in. There's, like I said, moved to Argentina and Uruguay and Brazil. From what I know there's entire towns in Brazil that still speak mostly German, which is crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So anyway, but we have, but anyway, I just thought that was like popular culture. My popular culture sucks take because I look into the conversation about the show after I watch the show. So I haven't watched Cobra Kai, but I watched this like right away. It hooked me and I got into it, and then I was like, what are people saying about this show? And it was like, the show's awesome. The show's awesome. The show's awesome. I mean, you can almost see the peak where it's like, show's awesome. Show's awesome. This is a great show, and then when it gets to like here, then it's like, but the main things was that the character in the show is supposed to be like 13, 15, and all these like 30-year-old dudes are lusting after her, which I was like, okay, all right, then that's I kind of noticed it as I was watching the show. I was like, and then it's like, oh, but it's a Latina, but she's a Latina with white privilege, and I'm okay, like, what does that even mean to me? Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Like, I understand it. Also, I'm kind of plugged into like Latin, like writer Twitter, and I started following a shit ton of like Latino writers, and I've noticed that that they're talking about getting jobs and stuff like that, and they're being hired. So I do think that we're in the beginning stages. I haven't gotten hired yet though, but I'm waiting. Beginning stages of seeing, of hopefully seeing more Latinx themed shows and things, and a little bit more influence. So hopefully this is starting to actually change recently, and
I hope
and
so.
this
I could use a big break. So
this upswell. But you keep saying you want to act, and then you go and you fucking then you go like, yeah, but
then I go do other stuff.
But I'm gonna do a doctorate though, and I'm like, okay.
I know, and I'm gonna be first ADing another project, which is but
I want to act. I want to act, right? Yeah, I just got accepted as a professor at Harvard, but I want to act.
But I want to act.
But I want to act. I
do once in a while.
I'm going to Belarus for 18 months to do my thesis.
Hey man, before COVID, I was like auditioning. I was not getting shit. Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway,
I was getting like, you don't look old enough. You don't look this enough. You know, I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyway, it's tough out there.
Another pop culture take that I had is and this is something that usually pisses me off: the people that get mad that people like a band that they like for the wrong reason. So
I'm gonna piggyback off of that later, but go ahead.
What is his name? Dogface 420 or whatever, the TikTok guy with the cranberry juice that went viral. He's singing the Fleetwood Mac song, right? And everybody's like, oh fuck yeah, Fleetwood Mac sales go up. Fleetwood Mac is like number one on iTunes. Blah blah blah. Everybody's singing that song, and then here come the fucking purist. There's other Fleetwood Mac songs. That's like the person like the person that sees somebody in a Nirvana t-shirt and they're
like their early stuff.
They're like, whoa, name 3 Nirvana albums that isn't fucking In Utero. Why? Let people this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
But let people discover like who gives a fuck if you're a fan of AC/DC because you saw it on Guitar Hero. And you're like, oh, that's from Guitar Hero. No, man, that's fucking AC/DC. That's one of the greatest. Like, who fucking cares?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan of a band like Fleetwood Mac and you like their fucking shit and it goes viral because a guy fucking was skateboarding to one of their songs to the point where now Fleetwood Mac sales are going up, it's good for your band. More people are discovering your band.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this thing where they want to kind of keep things to themselves while at the same time, I don't know if, is that posing? What is that called? Is that like, it's kind of being like a poser, right? Not a poser, but like a hipster, right? Like, oh, I like Fleetwood Mac from before.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Somebody discovered it. Let them fucking enjoy it and go down the path of discovering. Like, I discovered Jay Dilla during the Donuts album. My friend sat me down and made me listen to it. So I'm like, fuck, this blew my mind. And then I went down the rabbit hole, and then I learned everything about his earlier albums, everything, blue. And I became like a hardcore fan. So why can't you let somebody else? I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were going to respond to that.
No,
why can't you let people have fun?
I just feel like it's such an innate thing though, because I agree with you 100%. But do you not ever like catch yourself doing it a little bit, even in your mind, when someone says like, I heard that song on Glee and that's how I discovered it, and you're like, oh motherfucker, how dare you?
Well, not on
like,
Glee.
You know, like, well, whatever. Just like how you mentioned, like, well, you saw it on TikTok or whatever. Like, everyone has that reaction. It's about controlling it and not being a dick about it. Yikes.
For me, it's art.
Art?
For me, it's.
What do you mean?
For me, it's art. Yeah.
Like what kind of art?
Because I was always a. I'll put this up real quick because I downloaded some of his pictures. I was always a Basquiat fan. Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was like a really weird art sort of thing. He just it's kind of a weird progressive style from like the pop art 80s and stuff. And I was an art hipster because I lived in New York and I went to all these museums and I would go to every art opening. So I was what Brian affectionately calls an art fag in New York during the like 90s, which means I was like in the scene, like fucking like I was deep in them Soho Bowery streets in New York City in the 90s, like learning about all these street artists from the 80s and stuff like that. And as a kid in the 80s, I saw them in the streets. Yeah. So sometimes Basquiat Samo has become more and more popular in the recent years, mostly when I notice that a rapper starts mentioning Basquiat, it's because they've reached a certain level of money where they're buying art, and they're buying art from the most popular contemporary Black artist ever. You know, he's the one like top level American artist that his paintings sold for like 80, 90 million bucks, right?
Holy shit.
So I get a little whatever you want to call it.
I was there early. I was there first.
For stuff like that. For music, not so much, because I enjoy discovering artists. Like I remember, like I discovered the Black Keys, and then I went back and listened to all their albums, or you know, or I more so than discovering music that's coming out now. My musical tastes go to be like, all right, what did I miss over the last 20 years that I probably should know a little bit more about, or that I could enjoy. You know what I mean? Like I don't like new artists at all. There's very few new artists that I even recognize, but I do like finding out about that. But another reason we can't have nice things is that people start enjoying shit like that, and then all of a sudden everybody starts like, well, you don't, you know. There's no such thing as not liking something or not being a fan of something for the wrong reason. You know, it's like that that other meme. But I'll let you you were going to piggyback. Go ahead. Say what you were going to say.
Oh, I was just going to say, that reminds me a lot of like the Padres doing good right now, or in the last season, because everyone like SD, I feel like everyone has like, I mean, not that they hate the Padres, but there's not a lot of Padre fans in San Diego because we've sucked for so long. And this last season, finally, they're good. And so everyone is like getting on the bandwagon. And then you have hardcore Padre fans that are like rioting and hating everyone that is like all of a sudden watching because they're like, well, you're a bandwagoner, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I'm just like, this is stupid.
So dumb.
Who, it's so dumb. Like, yeah, like honestly, the Padres used to suck and now they're being good. Like, what did you want everyone to just watch every single game and just be a masochist and watch them lose all the time? Like, no, it's fine. It's fine if you want to jump on something and learn and all of a sudden get into the history and all this shit, whatever. Like, but everyone has to talk shit and they like to feel entitled, like they own it and like it's theirs.
Yeah, no.
That was just an example. Yeah, but no, I think it's petty.
It's definitely funny. And then the other one was this, that people rushing to Johnny Depp's defense over Amber Heard, which I understand why. I don't know if it's an overcorrection to the Me Too movement where we found the one woman that's in a big time case that lied. So everybody's trying to be like, see, well, we're gonna beat the fuck out of her because she's the one that lied. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird, but I think people just need to just stop trying to defend Johnny Depp. Just let him be, man. He's gonna be all right. Like, there's no universe where people are like, oh my God, they're coming after Johnny Depp. You know, like, you know, he's gonna be okay. And now they're like, well, we're gonna boycott Aquaman 2 because Amber Heard's in it. It's like,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, out of all the things going on in the world, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp is not something that I'm too worried about.
It sucks that the British courts literally said, we find it more probable than not that he's a wife beater. You're not going to win. Okay, so this is the last meme that I'll show you because this is another one that I really like from this election. That one. That's just good.
Beautiful photoshopping. Even the arm.
That's just fucking.
Even the arm, dude.
Chef's kiss on that. All right, well, we got a segment that we're going to transition to, and it's called No Nama's Way.
No Nama's Way.
Where we talk about the advice that we would give people in interesting situations without revealing who they are. Now, did you
Mhm.
figure out a way to talk about the one that you want to talk about, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna do a couple. I have a couple of possible "Am I the asshole?" ones. You tell me which one you want me to do because we do first, right? All right. Okay. So here's your choices. Am I the asshole for refusing to shave my beard for a wedding? I'm not gonna do that one. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the asshole for reporting my wife's cousin to his employer? That's one. Am I the asshole if I skip my brother's wedding because my wife isn't invited?
Oh.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her husband was gay?
We read that one already.
No, it's a different one.
What? Is that something that happens often?
I
What?
Know, but that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, did they repost that same one? And then I read through it. I'm like, no, it's different story. You want to do that one?
I want to do the wedding one.
All right. Am I the asshole if I skip my brother's wedding because my wife isn't invited? All right. So if anybody's listening or watching, let me know what you would do. All right. Me and my brother have a good relationship. My wife and his fiance don't like each other. My brother's fiance has always been a bit childish and has never appropriately dealt with confrontation. She's the type of person who can say rude things about others, but when something is said back, she has a meltdown. She's opinionated, needy, and can be a bit phony. If she doesn't get her way, she immediately goes into a bad mood. Again, this is his perception of his brother's fiance, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few years back, my wife was suffering from depression. My brother's fiance made a comment about one of my wife's family members. Blah, blah, blah. Comment was rude. So basically, they don't get along, right? Luckily, my relationship with my brother was not impacted. My wife got over the argument rather quickly. She doesn't like my brother's fiance, but wanted to be cordial for my sake. However, my brother's fiance refuses to move on. They would see each other at parties, gatherings, come and ignore each other. They would converse briefly with each other if required. My wife would go out of her way to talk to her, and she would just ignore her, blah, blah, blah. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I haven't attended a party or event at my brother's since. Okay? Half a year passed. My wife reached out to my brother's fiance asking if they could move past things, blah, blah, blah. But somehow my brother and I have still been able to hang out as if this isn't a 10,000-pound enemy elephant. Anyway, my brother has asked me to be his co-best man along with our other brother, which I said yes. I recently received the wedding invitation, and as you guessed, my wife was not invited. I was a bit shocked and saddened. My brother and his fiance are set to be married in June, COVID pending, and my wife told me I should go. I have no interest in attending knowing she is not welcome. Am I the asshole if I skip my brother's wedding because my wife isn't invited?
No. Oh, sorry. That's a short answer.
What do you think?
I don't know because there's so many people's feelings involved. So it's like you're not an asshole, but you're kind of an ass. Like it's not a nice thing to do to your brother because he wants you to be his best man and all that stuff. But also his bitch fiance is the one causing this, and so you not going could be a good like little negative reinforcement on this. Just kind of.
Yeah, I guess I think that depending on the family dynamic, it's kind of it's kind of ballsy.
It is ballsy, yeah.
It makes me question the guy who's getting married, not the control, but what role he plays in the relationship. Because, man, you got to be either pussy whipped or deeply in love to be getting married. Ask your brother to be your best man. Know that he has a wife,
and then invite the wife,
and then go out of your way to customize your wedding invitation to say no +1 for you.
Yeah, that's true. That was an extra step. It's the wife, the fiance. It's her fault.
But
I don't know.
You're getting married to Kate McKinnon, right? She's like,
yes, fuck yeah. I would hope so.
It's like you can't but you don't like your brother's girlfriend at the time, like. And then you're gonna
say nay.
No, you're invited because you're my brother, but you're not in. But I don't want you bringing no scallywags.
You're right. I would put my foot down. I would be like, no, everyone is invited, my whole family, including if you're married. Yeah, then your wife is coming.
The other side of that is it's her special day. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's
do you really want to be surrounded by people that you've had arguments with the past and you're on your special
when
day?
that person is your family and is tied to the best man, you kind of have to.
You kind of got to get over it, right?
You kind of got to get over it. Yeah. Like, it's not, you know,
Like
you don't get to have both.
Like, if I was him, I would just bring her anyway. I was like, no, my brother invited me to be your best man. We're going to a wedding. You're coming with me. Like, I think
exactly.
I think that's the move.
Right? The move is to talk about it, is to talk to your brother and be like, dude, I don't want to go if my wife isn't going to be there. What are we going to do about it? And then hope that he's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to my wife to be. Tell her how it is.
I would approach it at the baller ass bachelor party that I threw for him. Right?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, so get him real nice and drunk.
I'd have like 6 titties in his face at the same time. I'd be like, I'm bringing my wife, right?
Okay, bro.
Bring her, bro. That's fine, dude.
It's so fun.
I'll make it happen, bro. Just keep the titties.
And then at the wedding,
keep the titties coming.
Like,
and then take a picture of that, and then
blackmail
use it, and then he'd be like, I talked to my wife and be like, yeah, I got this picture of you with 6 titties in your mouth.
Yeah, I have you filmed. You said yes in this moment in time. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Let's do that. Tell him he needs to do that.
That's the move. All right,
that's the solution.
I got one.
That's the solution.
I got one more here that I wanted to read. Okay, that's kind of on a different take. Okay.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for getting my coworker demoted for trying to pull me out of an anxiety attack? All right, so some background. I have medical issues that cause me pain every day. My mother had it, and it was eventually a factor in her death. So at work, there was this girl that was very touchy. She would go from desk to desk and rub people backs and ask how they were doing. I mean, we've known those people, right?
Yeah.
At first, I politely asked her not to touch me because of my issues. She said, okay, but it never stopped. She kept touching me every day and forgetting about my issues. She would come behind me and start deep massaging my shoulder, saying, you look stressed. Again, something you could do like in 2002, not so much 2020, right?
Yeah.
This would cause painful spasms to go down my back, blah, blah, blah. So she has a physical issue where she doesn't like being touched, which right away it should be, if it happens more than one time, you should immediately tell that person, listen, I'm going to put up,
Linda.
I'm going to put this, Linda, listen. Okay, well, I made requests to be moved away from her, made small requests to my supervisor. Well, at work, I had an anxiety attack. I was overstressed. I felt like there were too many people around me and it was getting hard to breathe. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. I washed my face to try to calm down. That is when she walked in. I was leaning over the sink to try to focus on my breathing. She asked if I was okay. I told her that I was fine. I just needed some space. Again, that should be the end of it. She comes to me and starts rubbing my back. I tell her to stop. She hugs me. I try to move away and she holds her at distance. I say again, please leave me alone. I need space. She pushes me against the wall. Again, this person's getting fired at this point, right? She's impeding her space. So basically this woman tried to start, maybe she saw these techniques for getting people out of panic attacks. She restrained me and started repeating, name what you see, name what you smell, name what you feel. She was trying to get me grounded or something, but the entire time I was in so much pain, I could not even think straight. I freak out and I try to push her away, and that is when my boss walked in. She asked what was happening. I ran out. Okay, boom. So I met with my boss later, blah, blah, blah. She was brought in and told she was being moved to a different position for not abiding for her previous warning. The new position had a pay cut. So basically, she said, you can't work in the same location with this person. You're going to go work over here now. And I mean, I think that it's a fucking miracle she didn't get fired.
Yeah. Honestly.
I don't think that person's an asshole at all.
No. And also she didn't technically get her demoted as in like snitch on something or make something, it was a circumstantial thing. Like the boss saw it. You have history with this person. You already told her to not touch you. Not the asshole. That's what I say. Not an asshole.
I mean, and honestly, maybe she was a well-meaning asshole, but she still was completely inappropriate, especially if you already know that this person doesn't like being touched. Listen, I don't
Mhm.
like being touched.
You're
That
like,
should be
okay,
that should be the end of it.
that's it. Yeah.
All right. What's yours?
Man.
I want
Okay.
to.
So mine, the reason why I chose the wedding is because it's wedding related.
Okay.
So I have a friend who is on a dating app, Tinder. Anyway, swipes on this guy.
Right.
They start talking. Right away, the guy invites her to be a date at a wedding. So
That's a weird first date move, man. That is a weird one.
Exactly. So she doesn't want that to be the first date. So she says, let's go somewhere else for the first date. He suggests to take her dress shopping. So they go dress shopping. During this dress shopping situation, he buys like 4 very expensive dresses, even though she protested, no, the courteous, no, I don't, like all that stuff. He bought a lot of dresses to one wedding.
He bought her wedding. So anyway, he bought her wedding options.
Oh yeah, wedding options. Yeah, and he bought them. So I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, they went to the wedding the other day, and the review from my friend was it was all very uncomfortable. He was very pushy. He hired a camera person to take pictures of them. There was a little like light that said, like a backdrop with a light that said love, and he really was pushing to take pictures under that. And she kept saying no, and he kept pushing towards it. And he kept taking selfies with her. And which I saw one, and I was like, you look like you're in a hostage situation. Because he's super happy and his arms like around her, and they're just like, anyway, my friend is too nice. Like, I'm a bitch in comparison, because I'm very straight up. And she's like, I don't, and I was like, you don't want to see him. Like, that's it. You need to break up. You need to end it. Like, and she's like, but he bought me dresses. And I'm like, yeah, he did that to manipulate you. Anyway, so we're trying to get her to end things. So I guess I want to make it one, is she an asshole? And 2,
is she an asshole for accepting the dresses?
How should she and 2, how should she end it?
Well,
you go ahead.
Okay, wait. So let me just get. All right. So she swiped him. She swiped on him because she thought he was cute, right? Interesting, right? Good looking guy. Mm-hmm. And apparently the guy's got some money.
We don't know that. We just maybe he's just desperate enough to spend his last penny on her. Who knows?
Okay. And we don't know. Is your friend have a history of being a gold digger?
Never.
No. Okay. So she okay. But she accepted the 4 dresses though.
Yeah.
And she wore one of them to the wedding.
Yes.
Where he hired a camera person to follow him around the wedding.
That's what it. Yep. They took professional pictures together
on their second date.
To a wedding.
Did anything happen between them physically on their first dress shopping day?
No.
No kiss, no nothing.
No, they kissed on the second, like in the wedding at the second date.
In a romantic moment.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I wasn't there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there.
But they did. But okay. All right. Now the question is she an asshole? Should she have? Well, number one, I think that if you're going to go hindsight 2020 on it, she probably should have protested more at the dress shopping, mm-hmm. right? Like she would be 4 dresses shorter right now, but she would have one less psycho on her plate to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was mistake number one. Like if you would have told me, he wanted to buy her 12 dresses, she took 4, then I would be like, okay, maybe. But she accepted 4 dresses. Now, mm-hmm. Even if she protested, right there, she made a mistake. I'm not blaming that on her. I mean, like you said, he could have been pushy about it, and he was going to buy him anyway. Mm-hmm. But that left a little seed in his mind that he probably had a shot. And if he's desperate enough to, hey, I just bought this chick mm-hmm. 4 dresses, I'm going to hire a photographer to follow us. Like, I think he's playing the like
weird.
He's trying to recreate like the meet cute, fall in love cute, sort of like, oh, our first date. You know, it's like almost like he's trying to create
Yeah.
a backstory for them for 10 years down the road.
Mhm.
Like, oh, our first, what did you guys be? Oh, we met. Our first date was dress shopping. I needed a date for my friend's wedding. So, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it feels like he's trying to build a future for her, and he's trying to make this part of it like, oh, we have professional, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So she's definitely not the asshole. Now she has to deal with the issue, which is she accepted the 4 dresses. She went on a second date with him to a wedding. She's met a lot of the friends. And if she accepted the weddings because she's demure or because she was manipulated, then the second part of the manipulation was sort of having her meet a lot of the people that were important to him so that she feels bad about ending it because she doesn't want to be the reason he has to go to her friends. Is like, oh, what happened to XYZ? Oh, she dumped me after the wedding, right?
Which was our second date, and I didn't know anything about her.
Which was our second date. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting.
So creepy. I thought it was just so I'm like, this guy is desperate. He would have, any girl that would have taken him up on like, he was gonna take someone to a wedding. Like, in my head, I'm just like, you have to be super desperate or really ashamed of being single, or really lonely or something, to not be able to just go to a fucking wedding alone.
The only option I can see is like, the only other thing I can see is, what if the guy is like super successful but like works nonstop to the point where he's like and maybe he's socially awkward, and maybe he's like a guy who's like a tech geek or something, and he's got to go to this major event in his life, and he doesn't talk to anybody because he's super awkward. So then he's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to find a chick. I'm gonna have to find a date for this wedding on Tinder.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe the social awkwardness part of it could sort of, right? Is there a scenario where
I can see that scenario? He would have had to have been a lot less eager. Like, his eager and creepiness level is at a 10. I'm gonna need him at like a 2. You don't hire someone. You can take someone to a wedding and be like, isn't this an awkward, funny situation? And then get to know each other. But it seemed like he was very pushy into like, let's take pictures together because I need proof of this.
Yeah, no.
I need you to dance. I need to do this. And we need to take pictures under the love sign. And this, like, it just seemed very eager. Like, I think it would have been fine if he would have been funny about it. Like, I know this is an awkward situation. But let's get to know each other. Let's continue. And it seemed like he was just like, let's get married tomorrow.
Yeah, no, if you would have told me that, like, in his like, did the guy like if the guy actually like spoke at the wedding and then he was like proposing to her, like, hey girl, I know this is just a second date, but just we took pictures under the love sign and I just felt something and they were surrounded by love, so let's just get married, man. The priest is already here. I gave him an extra $50.
He would have been married by now. Just been like, what happened?
Is your friend? Besides the creepiness, does she have any physical or like vibe connection with?
From having known her for a very long time? No, but I had to be the one to tell her because she kept making excuses like, oh, well, he's nice. Well, he's this. And I'm like, you're not giving me anything of any, like, do you guys have anything in common? Like, and then she kept focusing on like the most positive thing that she focused on was not something that is positive at all. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, you don't like him. Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then the thing is, and this is why women have a different, worldview as men, because 99% of men would be like, yeah, just dump her, tell her you're done. But girls have to sort of factor in this whole psycho factor that they have to break up with somebody the right way, which sucks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I think that I think she blames COVID.
Okay.
I think you got to use the tools that are at your disposal. So she blames COVID. She tells them literally, there was an infection in my family or something. We're quarantining for 2 weeks, and we're going into the mountains. There's not going to be my rich uncle let us borrow his cabin. There's no cell reception up there.
Okay.
And then that gives her 2 weeks where hopefully he can sort of move on his own. And then, and she comes back and she's like, listen, I'm not doing good. I got a lot of stuff on my mind. Let's talk next summer, see where we are differently, and just put them off. That would be that would be like my move, I guess. If you wanted to, if you don't want to just say, listen, just I appreciate the dresses. Obviously,
you can take them back.
Offer to give them back. Or just be like, listen, I don't want this. I gave you the wrong idea here. You can take these dresses back, or else I'm going to donate them somewhere.
Yeah.
And just came on a little too strong. I'm sorry. Just enough. That's it, right? That's kind of the thing. Just tell him, hey, you came out a little too strong here, guy.
Yeah.
You rushed into it. I'd like to give the guy a benefit of the doubt and be like, he's some tech mobile that's awkward, but there's a lot of red flags there, especially
too many.
Especially finding somebody to take pictures of you. It's almost like they're doing performance art, or like I said, somebody that's planning the story that you guys are going to tell people like 10 years from now, which is
it's very forced. It's eager. It's weird.
What's your advice been to her so far?
Let me see. I'm going back on the chat right now to see, because we have a girls chat, and we all had input. Hold on.
I was gonna say, Louis says blame COVID.
I'm gonna send her the list, and I'm just gonna be like, fast forward to here if you don't want to hear politics. Anyone? All right. So he got his phone later and opened his Snapchat and wanted selfies. Like, bro, this is way too much for me. I said, in the words of our Lord and Savior Shia LaBeouf, just do it, as in break up with him. I said, that's high-key hella creepy. I got chills. And then I said, yeah, he's lonely and jumping the gun. I am very creeped out by him. Although, I mean, you could just tell by him even inviting you to the wedding and buying you stuff that he's desperate to be in a relationship. He's rushing everything, and it's not cute. It's creepy. Then about the picture that she sent me, I said, if I didn't know the context, I would think it's cute. But since you told me, it looks like a hostage situation. I want to be like, blink twice if you need me to contact the authorities. And then my other friend who's in the chat, she's talking to another guy who she also met in an app. Their situation has been also very much like super fast. Like, things have been happening so fast, but in a cute way. In a, like, they got to know each other, they like each other, and like they're going to Vegas now. Like, it's been really fast, but really cute. This is really fast and creepy. And anyway, she I guess she talked to her man about it, and she was like, listen, this girl dumped him with this text, and I'm gonna send it to you, and I want you to send it to him. Just copy and paste. It's genius. And I was like, okay. And so she sent it, and this is what it was. She said, and I quote, if I can find it, this, okay. We shouldn't go out. We can be friends. Sorry. Sad face.
Sad face? Is the sad face a key part of that?
No, it's like the little like slanty face that's like, yeah, we shouldn't go out again. We can be friends. Sorry. And she said, that's it. It's simple, to the point, perfect. It says everything and nothing. It's great. See, she's cold, but also a guy sent it to us. Like her guy sent it to her to use. She was like, hey, a girl did this on me and whatever, I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, but then again, I've been ghosted before, so I think that always telling somebody is probably the best move, because people in the end prefer to know than not know, I think. So anytime you're like, oh, I want to spare somebody's feelings, I don't, let them know straight up. Listen, then, if anything, the guy may learn from it. Helping his
but you just suggested to lie. You just suggested, let's say you have COVID or some shit, go to the mountains. This is no. You're not gonna erase what you just said like 5 minutes ago.
Did I do the old Democratic Republican flip?
You did. You're like, I always say, be straight up.
No, I was thinking about it from the guy's perspective. I'm saying from the guy's perspective, I think he would rather just know because it would help him in a future relationship, right? If you're like maybe the guy was earnest and he was like, oh, I don't know how to fucking, I'm supposed to be suave. Not everybody's as suave and sophisticated as me and you.
Oh God. Oh my goodness. Continue. Yes.
Hey, Dizzy's showing up. Thank you for popping in, Dizzy. Hi, Sophia and Big Chief. How you doing?
Hi, Dizzy.
Did you hear any of the I Am the Assholes? And do you have any opinion on it, Dizzy? Let us know. No, but I say, the thing is right now, I'm looking at both from his perspective. I think he would rather know than not know. And sort of, like I said, maybe if he's like, I came on too strong, I probably shouldn't have hired that photographer to follow us around.
Yeah.
Boom. Then that would make sense from that perspective. And then he could learn. But again, if she's like, damn, she got COVID, and he's like, I won't be able to see you for 2 weeks. Damn, she's not gonna be able to see me for 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
But I'm like, okay, that's 2 weeks. That's a long time for me to commit to stalking you. I'm probably gonna be like, it's gonna give me a couple of weeks to sort of get over it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's from her perspective. Obviously, just like that text is probably a good idea. Look, thank you for the dresses. I offer to give them back, but
I was gonna say I think that text was perfect, and then I agree with it giving it back. Just be like, hey, if you want the dresses, let me know. I'll give them back. If not, I'm gonna donate them. I like that.
Hey,
and that's it.
You're be like, this is the cold way to end it. She could be like, motherfucker, this ain't no rom-com. This ain't called two.
So
he thinks it's in a rom-com.
Bro.
Like what? He's gonna buy. It's called 4 dresses and a wedding.
Oh my God!
That's how he got her to fall in love. That's how he got her. That's how he got her to fall in love. This ain't no rom. This ain't no romantic.
Can we write a really bad rom-com to this?
Sure.
Plot? Just
you mean another really bad
one? Like not another rom-com.
No, you mean another really bad rom-com?
Yeah.
I have the poster.
Like not another teen movie, but not another rom-com. Oh my God, let's do it. Anyway.
You see that poster in the back?
Anyway. I did. Yeah, I do.
It's over there. Yeah.
I like them legs.
A lot of people don't know we made a movie together. Also,
we do.
This
we
is
make movies
this
sometimes.
is November 16th, and I'm trying to stick to no shave. I had to get rid of the sides because I can't grow a beard, right? Because I'm patchy. But the stash is in full effect right now.
Yeah, it is. Are you gonna grow? Wait, are you shaving the sides though, or are you gonna?
I can't grow side beards. I have too many dead spaces in my I have patches. And stuff like that. But I can if I don't pick at it and I don't fuck with it, I can at least grow like a goatee and a mustache, stuff like that. So figured might as well keep it going for right now, although it's reached a point where a certain something is pissed off about how it feels.
Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to use like beard oil on it and shit. Anyway, so Sophia's random incognito friend. That's my take on that situation. Although by the time you watch this, hopefully it's all taken care of, etc., etc. All right, I got one more, and this is the kind of the one that we thought. Haven't we read this one before? Because it was very similar. Mm-hmm. And this one is: am I the asshole for telling my sister that her husband was gay?
Oh my God!
And like I said, like I don't. I mean, it's a. I guess
common apparently.
Yes, I guess it's a fucking epidemic.
Yeah.
Get it? A fucking epidemic.
Oh.
Right. Here we go. All right, my older sister Angie, and me are inseparable. When we were younger, we play together all the time, tell each other our secrets, blah blah blah. We would take each other's blame, homework. She's partly the reason when I've gotten an A+ on my math exam. She is married to a man named Liam. Sounds gay already. Sorry.
What do you have against Liams?
I don't know.
Liam hater? Damn.
Sorry. I'm two sentences into it. Yep, he's gay.
Yep,
I believe it.
That's gay, all right. Gay name fired, nerd one.
Checks. Name's Liam. Gay checks out. Okay, let's wrap it up. Is it?
Oh my god.
Right.
Yep.
She's married to a man named Liam, and they together have 5 children. Oh,
Huh?
ain't that gay. Angie is working all the time, and because Liam does not have a job, he is left home to take care of their children. And mainly visit them to help Leah. And in one of those particular visits of mine, he had asked to speak to me in private. All right. That's when he had admitted to me that he was gay and that he has been going around in gay bars. He told me how he was only staying with Angie because of their children. So this doesn't sound like he's always been gay. It's maybe something that he realized later on. I mean, I know tons of gay people that have kids because they were either in the closet or were having hetero relationships or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's tons of people
that
come
realize
out.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. There's tons of people that come out in 30s, 40s, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that otherwise he would have left her and went on to be with another man. I was shocked and speechless, but I told him that I wouldn't tell anyone. Well, there you are. Game over. If you told her that you weren't going to tell anyone, then you did tell them.
You don't tell? Yeah.
Right at this point in the story, I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, you are the asshole. Let's keep reading.
Yeah.
Let's see if I'm wrong. Okay. That's blah, blah. I told him I wouldn't tell. But in the end, questions of infidelity came since he did tell me he was going out in gay bars and there was a possibility he was sleeping with other men. So I decided it was best if I told Angie about his homosexuality after all. When I told Angie about it, she and Liam had a full-blown fight. She kicked him out of their house and is currently filing for a divorce. I've tried messaging Liam, but he keeps telling me how I violated his privacy and that I was a huge dickhead for telling Angie. But Angie thanked me for it and told me that it was a good thing I didn't hide anything from her. Angie and I still have the same relationship as before, but I still think I might be the asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to disagree with you.
So you think at that point you were thinking she was the asshole, but then as you read more about it...
Yeah, because in the moment, I'm like, you made a promise. You should never break thy promises. But... He is the one that's really an asshole because it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't tell her and then she finds out in the future, which she probably will, and then she figures out that you knew and he told you, then you're the asshole in her eyes. And to me, the sister relationship is a little more important than the cuñado. You know what I mean? If my cuñado gets drunk and tells me in a drunken mess, oh, I did this, don't tell your sister. I'm like, bitch, I'm tied to my sister. I'm gonna tell my sister. No. Why are you telling me? Why are you telling me about people?
You're going with the blood is thicker than water defense.
Yeah. Classic. Also, it's a classic, but also fucking don't tell the one person that is bound to tell the person that you told them not to tell. It's dumb. Yeah, she deserved to know. Thank you, Dizzy Miss Lizzie.
Okay, I got a question for you. All right, I don't know if you've always been out and proud, but was there ever a time that you told somebody about your sexuality that you later regretted it because you thought they were going to say something about it? Even when you were younger?
No. I was very careful with who I told in my case. I understand where you're going with this though. I get it because there's a lot of people that do tell certain people and then they out them. And I think that that's messed up. Mm-hmm. Is that person cheating, and is that person that they're telling their wife that you're also your sister?
My question is that if they said that he was taking care of the house and she was working or whatever it is, but I would have to know if they were actively fucking while he was going out too, because then you can kind of double down on that. She deserved to know because he's going out and
STIs and
exploring his gay side. And she's coming back to him. And the only reason I was like, it's kind of messed up to out somebody.
For real. Yeah. I mean, I agree.
But in that particular relationship, I think the sisterhood and the deserve to know factor kind of weighs out on, you probably should have told me you were gay. And if you told her sister that he was gay, it was probably because he knew that she would tell her. Mm-hmm. Because if you have 5 kids with somebody and you're fucking staying at home taking care of them and you're fucking pissed off as shit And you're like, and you have all this time at home, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. I think I think he was done, and he was like, she's gonna tell her.
I am not gonna bust in this chick a sixth time. I need to go be gay. 5 children is enough for me to realize I do not wanna.
Which I think honestly, if anyone's the asshole, it's him, because you're being unfair at that point if you're exploring that side of you, but you also have this bitch tied down and she can't go fuck other guys. You're not letting her. She's unaware. Yeah. That's just mean. That's just plain mean. Let her get hers if you're getting yours.
Yeah, but
5 kids. Ego aside, and 5 kids. I mean, I listened to this podcast called Latter Day Lesbian, and she is a 50-some-year-old woman who realized she was a lesbian and got divorced, and she has 7 kids. And they all reacted very well.
Does she live in Vermont?
No. Vermont is very gay friendly. I think she would have came out at 12 if that were the case.
No, they should live in Vermont now. Is her name Bernie Sanders?
Oh, did they move to? Yeah, did they move to Vermont? Yeah.
That's the other thing is fucking Bernie was at gay pride parades in like 1982.
Hell yeah, that's my boy, man.
Joe Biden was still undecided about gay marriage like 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago in the 2010, Joe Biden was like, I don't know. Yeah. 1982, Bernie was like, fuck it, let's do it. Fucking, he was like taking his, being the keynote speaker at a fucking gay.
We don't deserve him. Ahead of his time, he is. We don't deserve.
We don't. We got. We get the president we deserve, and
sadly.
And if 72 million voted for Trump, then we get the president that we deserve. Yep. Oh my God.
Alrighty. Well.
So those.
Yeah, he's the asshole. Anyway, that's my verdict.
Yeah, I think if you're in that relationship for 5 years and you realize it, you just got to have the talk and just be like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
The only fucking respite I got in this world is when I go out to the gay bars.
Yeah.
And I want to keep going to it, and I don't want to fuck you anymore. So.
Exactly.
Let's see who gets the couch.
Yeah, it's tough, and I do think that no one should ever be outed, but unless they're if they're not hurting anyone. But if there's someone else in the equation that they're also hurting by omitting this, then maybe hurry the process up a little bit. That's a little messed up, Are you the asshole in that situation?
That's why you're a log cabin Republican.
Yeah, exactly. A log cabin Republican.
Are your puppies okay?
All right, anyway. Yeah, they're asleep. They're right here.
Oh, yeah, mine are.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't really get the camera up.
That's one good thing about the new setup is I get to see the dogs a little bit more.
I know. I see Baxter in the background. Wait, is that Shia too?
They're both right there. But
they're both there.
But I did a pod at 2 p.m, and they were back there sleeping, and it's 9 o'clock, and they're always just napping. Let's see if Shy Girl.
Oh, that's all mine do too.
Shy Girl.
Oh, Papa.
Yeah, she raised her head up. There she is. What's up, Mama?
Oh, hi, Shia.
She's back.
Shia Leah. She's so cute.
All right. Anyway, Sophia, we did an hour plus on politics, and we've done an hour plus on relationships and pop culture.
Wow. Hard to believe we talked about politics for an hour. Yikes.
Yeah, damn. I mean, there's a lot of shit to just sort of at least... I just kind of felt like...
Damn it.
I just felt like we needed to just... Because we had talked pre-election about politics, that it was good to just kind of be like, all right, where are we right now? And the consensus is we're sort of in fucking no man's. We're like in... we're like in... What's that called? Where everybody wasn't lost? Purgatory or whatever.
Purgatory?
Purgatory. Yeah. We're just kind of like in between places right now. We don't know
what's uncharted territory for sure. Yeah, it's so weird.
And it wasn't like we didn't kind of know that there was nothing normal about this shit. So, middle of pandemic, middle of a transition, middle of a possible coup.
2020.
Lots of shit going on. Yeah, everybody stay safe out there. Mm-hmm. As always, thank you for everybody that came by. Again, Sophia, if you want to order some yummy food for your Halloween, for your Thanksgiving, don't want to cook. Obviously, Friendsgiving is canceled this year, unfortunately.
Oh, I was going to ask about that off air, but I was going to ask.
Yeah. We got it.
It's canceled. Okay.
Maybe we'll do like a virtual hangout or something at least.
I could wear my mask.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, it'd have to be in the backyard or something. But again, I'm being super cautious.
Yeah, you have to.
But La Original Casa del Taco, look them up and stuff. If you want to buy presents for people and you don't want to go on Amazon, one option you have, M&M Custom Designs, our homies in Hawaii. They ship anywhere in the U.S. though. Facebook.com/2M Burrito. Make sure you like us, follow us, so you know when we go live again. Twitch.tv as well. Lizzie's on there. She is a streamer. She streams Pokemon and Among Us and Fall Guys, and those are the ones that I watch. And stuff like that. So follow her. YouTube.com/2M Burrito for anybody that watches any of our replays. And that is it. Sophia, thank you for coming on. Any last words other than your normal cancel culture?
Nah, the world is on fire, but it's okay. I love you guys. Thanks for having me on.
We will be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I'm gonna let this outro play out, but I'll talk to you tomorrow or something, or when you tell me when your schedule frees up again, and I'll let you know about Friendsgiving and everything. Okay.
Sounds good. All
right, everybody, take it easy.
Bye. Out.